Well, howdy, 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 nearly senior citizen here. Greetings, boys, girls, and all of our non-binary friends, and welcome to this, a brand new day. Hoagie Smokes. It is Saturday morning, recording this, and oh boy, there's something I wanted to talk about, but I forget what it is, so I'm going to go straight into this one. Boy, the air has been terrible in this area for a while. I mean, it was just flat out air quality poor. It says when you take a look for alerts and such online that air quality is fair, but they also say today is just going to be hazy sunshine. That's because of all the junk in the air. We haven't had hazy sunshines until today, so it's going to be even cloudier. I'd mentioned before how going out walkies was like playing Morrowind, 2, 3, 4 blocks out, and the smoke made everything blend in. When I went out walkies last night, 1 block out, and it looked like a horror film, Silent Hill, because of all the junk in the air. So, I did not sleep well. Again, heat and such like that. But part of it is I have a dust filter on my sleep apnea machine, which I don't change as often as I should, but I still change it, especially with all the junk that's been in the air. I did change it less than a month ago. I woke up this morning just wheezing like an accordion, even through the air filter on my sleep apnea mask. Not because of pollen, not because of any other issues, just because of all the junk in the air. Thumbs up for that. It's been warm and hot. I didn't get much done yesterday as much as I wanted to. I had a period of falling asleep. Now, one of the things that's weird, I'm fighting with my diet right now. I still eat way too much junk. Periodically, I'll buy candy and then I'll eat not a big bag, one of those like 5 to 9 ounce bags, and then I'll eat a bag of candy. Ugh. And especially since processed sugar is terrible for your cardiac system. I shouldn't do that at my age. Point being though, one of the things, I've been falling asleep right around 11:30, 12 o'clock. Right around in that period. When I do fall asleep. I'd wondered before, was it like, sugar crash? Because I'll eat bad stuff, and then some of it, like the bag of candy, will have a lot of sugar in it. But it really does. Ow. A little muscle popped in my eyeball. Which happens. It's just tendons and such. They hold and then snap, pop. And when they do, Okay. Wheezing. And the heat and falling asleep. And yes, and sugar. And so I tried to check and see by eating sugar at a different period of time, and I can eat a massive amount of sugar at a different point in the day, and I don't have any falling asleep issues. I can eat nothing at all and still fall asleep around 11:30ish. So there's just something about the time where my biochemistry, my biorhythms, and all that right around that point, just everything goes at that, and then I'm railroaded from behind as the train of sleep smacks into me, and I end up falling asleep in here. So did that. Tried to be as creative as I could. I'm working on a song mutilation. I have a Prosetta pronunciation guide that I'm working on that not really too thrilled with it, but that could be just my mindset. I've been upset about a lot of things just because I've been biochemical depression, and of late it's not a huge ride, but I've mentioned before how, because of what I've learned, behavioral training, if I identify myself, with cyclical negative thoughts and such like that, identify what's happening. That's my getting into the roller coaster car for the ride. I can identify when that's happening, break what's happening, get out of the car. I can identify if the car is rolling, I can pull on the emergency brakes, break the cycle of repetitive thoughts, get out of the car, do some behavioral things to get away from those negative thoughts, and then get out of the car. there are times when it's just all you can do is strap on the safety belt, hold on to the restraining devices, and then just enjoy the ride. And I've been on one of those for a while. Not hard, not heavy, normal is right here. I'm right here. Normally my depression goes like this. I'm sort of like right down here, but that's not bad. Comparatively, that's fine. I'm gonna live through it. Everything is cyclical. Biochemistry is wonderful. But still, it's joyous, so I'm dealing with that, which makes it harder to be creative through. But I've been trying to think about various things, because I come up with ideas and then I chew on them a lot, and I really like the idea of, I need to come up with a name for this particular world, but it's still in the cosmic horror framework. So in one of the multiverses that is happening, there is a particular set of universes. And in that set of universes, I like this particular set of variants of the people doing variants of the action in a different variant of the universe. And so I chew on that one a lot and try to think of stuff. A lot of what I've been thinking of is how the human culture that I've been trying to work on and think of, and I figure they're a very assimilative culture. And assimilation is good and bad because, you're assimilated, you're brought in, but you're also monocultured. You lose all of the happiness and friendliness. So how would a monoculture, it's roughly based on the status quo system of Western society. Because the systems especially in the United States, if you try to protest stuff, the system assimilates the protest, and then suddenly it's not really a protest anymore, it's just part of the system. So that's roughly based on that, where it's not evil. Nobody's trying to destroy the world. Nobody's trying to do this, that, or the other. In fact, for the human beings, it's just to get along. It's to get along and maintain the status quo, because at first their system of assimilation was designed for just them. And human society became very codified, very rigid systems of control. And then when suddenly there were all these other races, the system was strained because, humans, the low-class humans were on the bottom, but now you've got all these other races, and, low-class humans are, low-class humans, but they're better than the other races, though, aren't they? There's no deliberate bias, but in the system, humans naturally float to the top. As an example, if you put it in medieval terms, if there is a city watch in a city, and in a specific area, you are not supposed to beg. But if you have an elven beggar and a dwarven beggar and a human beggar, when they see the city watch coming, the two elf and the human, they're going to just fade into the crowd, while the human guy is going to take it a little slower getting up and getting out. Because the human will just be rousted. The elf and the dwarf, they may get a touch the club on the way to make sure that they're moving. It's not done maliciously. It's just, you want to make sure they keep moving. You don't want them taking time, so you just smack them a few times with your nightclub, and they get the hint and they move. So it's a very rigid and codified system, and unfortunately, to assimilate a lot of things, they have to really neuter a lot of things. The Church of Satan does exist. After all, it is people in the Church of Satan, now that they've been bringing boats over to the main continent, where they're looking for people to say, do not assimilate. You can trade knowledge, trade goods, but avoid assimilation. So it's a great society, and the church is upset because they've been assimilated, and you can't have great amounts of knowledge going out to the people because that will break up the status quo, and the main point of the church is dissemination of knowledge to keep it alive. So there is a church, but they do not have a very strong connection with the divine conduit. No more than just anybody else. And anything that they can glean has to go through the bureaucracy to make sure it's not going to disrupt things. Every 4 or 5 years, a new bit of philosophy or tech or magic or something will be leaked out to keep people happy. But it's not going to be anything major. And so the church isn't happy about that on the main continent. And of course, the subterranean fungal elves aren't as pleased either because they're discovering that that too has just been assimilated and neutered. But the system works to maintain the status quo. If you, as one of these Elvandri, the horse-riding dwarves, had been assimilated, you were born into one of the nomadic tribes of horse-riding dwarves. But as assimilation came through, you were born into that. You vaguely remember that, but from about 10 years on, you've been a part of the monoculture. And everything has just been assimilated. But it's assimilated in such a way, again, that, you're starting to feel unhappy. Your culture was the horse-riding free dwarves, nomadic dwarven people, the Elvandri. And here you act like everyone else. You're inside of a village and everything. It's not your people's culture being displayed. It's kind of the human culture. Everyone dresses and acts and does stuff sort of on a human level. And just when you're starting to get really unhappy about it and almost ready to talk about it, well, all the bean counters and people who pore over the data have already decided. They make the announcement that in your village it's going to be Elvandri Appreciation Month. And not only Elvandri Appreciation Month, but as it turns out, the horse riding clan from that area. And not only the horse riding clan, they're going to specifically talk about it and spend a lot of time about one of the local heroes, a legend. And not only do they do that for that full month, you, as that Elvandri, actually learned something you didn't know. The subject was treated respectfully. You learned. And now, of course, when the month's over, you're just going to be a happy little drone again for a couple years. And not only that, you feel grateful toward the monoculture because the monoculture went and taught you something about your culture you didn't know. It treated the subject respectfully. And actually now you feel kind of annoyance and unhappiness toward your own culture because why didn't they teach you this? Why did the monoculture have to teach you this? So now you've got that friction between you and your own culture. And you're on the side of the monoculture, but your people's culture was absorbed and broken and people still have to live. They don't have time to teach all that. So monoculture is assimilative and it will break you apart, but the bean counters are there to make sure that you're just happy enough that you will be a happy little drone. So it's good and it's bad, especially since the monoculture like that, the assimilation of the human beings, treats anything that they can't assimilate as a threat. So this far off continent where it's too far to assimilate, really, you're not going to be able to assimilate from over an ocean, not with the tech they have. And the continent that they've contacted, the one I write about with people like Scarbat and all that on it, with the church, they're very rich and very strong because they have that knowledge that the other continent doesn't because of the proscription of knowledge. Are they going to treat it as a threat? Something to be dealt with? Or is it just going to be an effective we can trade and learn? Will there be espionage? Hard to say. I'm hoping to do something with all this. And I've opened up 24 hours worth of comments in my community tab. I'm going to go through and thank 20 to 25 people, or however many people leave a comment. It's been quite some time since I've had 25 different people leave comments, and that's okay. It happens. If I mispronounce the username, no disrespect is intended. I'm an American English speaker, and even though I count American Sign Language on the fingers of this hand with my depression and fibro and more, oh boy. I'm getting better at remembering things all the time, but there's still a functional limit. We have Hunter, thumbs up and thank you. Ian Maccabee, I sure hope I'm very close, and yes, that is. Ice Damon, yeah, it's true. Big Ol' Worm, all of my requests are from suggestions, so thank you. Sard778 returns, thumbs up and thank you, and good to know, thank you. Pascal Parker, greatly appreciated. Jens V, thumbs up. Dark Circle 3, greatly appreciated. We have AD, thumbs up and thank you. Chloe Harp, greatly appreciated. We have Clint Logan, thumbs up. Favel, greatly appreciated. And Hokey Smokes. Johnny K, thumbs up and thank you. Rice Ball, thumbs up and thank you very, very much. Good to know. It is a good thing. Slothman, greatly appreciated. The Scrappy, thumbs up. We have Ash, greatly appreciated, and thank you very much. And that is it. Thumbs up and thank you, each and every one of you, for having left a comment. You get me out of my head and into the world and dealing with real people. Greatly appreciated. Thank you so very, very much. While my hands are in the air, if you could check out my various links in the show more, wherever it happens to be. If you're watching on mobile, I have no idea where the text description is, but in the text description, I have links to all of my various channels, and of course, I have things like my Patreon. No, too late, too early, I went and derailed myself. I have first the social media stuff, Twitter, Facebook, and Patreon.com. So if you could become a Patreon.com patron, like one of these beautiful and awesome people, that would be beautiful and awesome. Definitely a thumbs up. It is because of these people I'm able to pay rent and eat. So thank you very much. And if you'd like to help me out without sending money to the patronage, again, I don't know where I am, but, I mean, verbally. I know where I am physically, but verbally. I have the, if you want to help me out without sending money through the patronage, there's a PayPal link down below. There I am. I found the link. Follow the bird trails. If you could send money along there, that would be awesome. And if you'd like to help me out without sending money, I have an Amazon wish list thing as well with things like cat food on it. So if you could check that out, that would be cool. Now, do not feel obligated. I do not feel entitled. And if you cannot donate or you simply do not donate, I take all good wishes and I deposit them in the bank of my heart where I draw interest. So thank you very much. And if you could toss me a like, I appreciate all the positive validation I get from my existence. A definite thumbs up. And of course, if you could hit the notification bell on the subscription button, that would be very cool. Thank you very, very much. Well, hokey smokes. Hopefully I'm going to be able to get some more creative stuff done. I've got all sorts of ideas. I feel horrible that I've not gotten anything done for my reaction for the game channel. I feel bad that it's been a while since I've been able to do anything for the creative/disturbing channel. But with this heat and the way I've been feeling, I'm lucky to be surviving. Oof. Excuse me. Ugh. Soda. Gotta love that. With the Covfefe bug, as crazy as it is, all around the globe, please be as careful as you can. Get vaxxed if possible. Please wear a mask. Practice your social distancing. Try not to touch your face too much. Wash your hands often. Hokey smokes, please. It's bad. We don't need to make it worse. You don't need to deal with the lifelong problems that surviving this will have. And since this has now turned into a death plague for the unvaxxed, get vaxxed, please. You take care. Have a great day today. I will see you on the flip side, and that is, quite frankly, a very good thing.